It was supposed to be a sexy and romantic cruise, so she took it, but not with the guy that paid for it. Piracy on the high seas, today in Money Court.
All rise. Money Court is now in session.
Presiding today, Her Honor, Judge Diana Davidson.
You may be seated. All right, now, it's Mr. Codalora.
Yes.
Is that how to pronounce it?
Yes.
And Miss Smith.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Codalora, your claim is against Miss Smith. What are you claiming for? I wonder if you could stand up.
Sure. Sorry, Your
Thank
Honor. Last December, a friend of mine came forward and presented me with an opportunity to buy 2 cruise tickets. Actually, 2 cabins with a total of 4 berths. I could get these at a pretty good price, $3,600 for each cabin, for a total of $7,200. So I thought, being December and being the Christmas season, I thought it would be an interesting opportunity to go on a trip with my friends. At the time, I was dating Michelle here, so I thought it'd be kind of neat because a friend of mine liked one of her friends, so we decided to go all together. So I presented the tickets to Michelle and gave one cabin under her name, and took the other ticket myself, and on the presumption that we were all going to go together and then swap cabins when we got on board, because none of us were married or anything like that. And prior to the cruise taking off, I found her in a restaurant with another man. We ended up getting into a fight. She broke up with me, wouldn't give me my tickets back, and when I went on the cruise for a relaxation to enjoy myself, to try and forget about this whole relationship, I found her on the cruise with another man. So I'm suing for $3,600, the price of the other ticket.
I see. Well, Miss Smith, may I hear from you? You may sit down while she's speaking.
We're very different people. I like hanging out at the beach. He likes going to the opera. I never was serious about the relationship. He gave me these tickets. He got 2 cabins. He put one in his name, one in mine. If he thought that we were going to be staying in the same cabin, why didn't he just put our name on one cabin and, both our names on one cabin, and then his friend's
But we'd already
name?
discussed this.
Could you just let her finish for a minute? Could you continue? So your question is, why did he give you the tickets?
Yeah, he gave it to me as a gift in my name for me and a guest, and the other cabin with his name and a guest. If he expected me to be in his room with him, why didn't he put my name on his ticket? And he gave me some story about wanting to protect my image. I'm a full-grown woman. I don't need anybody to protect my image. He's the one that is a mummy's boy, and he can't handle the thought that he might be having sex. So about a week prior to the cruise, I was in a bar with a friend from work, Jack Warner, and Curtis happened to see us just having a drink, started throwing accusations at me. I have a witness to this behavior, that it was totally uncalled for, totally erratic. At that point, I said, it's over. I want nothing to do with him. I'm going on with my life. And next day he calls me. He says, he wants to see me again. He's being all sweet and apologetic. And I agreed, okay, fine. I'm rational. I can be reasonable and hear him out. And again, he starts throwing insults and abuse at me. I don't need that. I'm not going to take that kind of crap from any man.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
We won't be having that in this courtroom either. Continue.
Anyway, he ended up, I went home to get the tickets,
He asked you for the ticket, is that it?
Oh yeah, he
he
wanted
did.
those tickets back.
Yes,
So I
and?
was going home to get the tickets. I wanted nothing to do with him, and Jack suggested that, you know, they were not refundable. They were a Christmas gift. He gave them to me. It was in my name. He had his own ticket. I may as well use them.
Just a minute. Jack suggested that they weren't refundable, so you might as well...
No, the tickets weren't refundable.
Oh, I see.
But he suggested I use them since they weren't refundable, and they were a gift to me, and why not use them? They were for me.
But I'd like to interject. My friend, being in the travel agency, said that I could return the tickets if I got them on time.
All right, I'm going to afford each of you an opportunity to cross-examine the other in just a moment. Could you sit down just for a second, and I'll just make a note here. All right, now, I understand, Mr. Cordillera,
Yes.
that you bought the tickets, 2 tickets for a cruise, and each ticket had a cabin with 2 berths in it.
That's correct.
And one was bought in Miss Smith's name and one was bought in your name, with the idea that you and 2 other friends would go along together.
Yes.
And that when you and she ceased being on good terms, she says you asked for the ticket back, and she decided ultimately not to give it to you. Am I right so far, both of you?
Yeah.
All right. Now, I want you both to stand, and so would you do that now? And Ms. Smith, you can cross-examine Mr. Cordillera on his testimony, and then he'll cross-examine you, okay?
Okay. Do you really think that your money can buy love?
Absolutely not.
Then how come you gave me such an extravagant gift?
I didn't give you such an extravagant gift. I gave you a opportunity to go on a cruise with me and a couple of friends. That's far from a gift. A gift is something that you give with absolutely expecting nothing in return. It's not an agreement. It's not a planned outing.
So you were expecting me to give something in return for those tickets,
Yeah,
right?
I was expecting your accompaniment as well as the accompaniment of my other friends. It's like you plan a fishing trip. A whole bunch of people get together. It's an
No, you
agreement
were
that you all go
planning
fishing. It's
to
just
have,
mainly. It's
you-
the same thing.
Just a minute. I don't want this to degenerate into an argument. What you're supposed to do is ask him questions, and then he's supposed to answer them. Then he's going to do the same to you. All right.
Okay.
Continue.
Did you also sue the 2 friends that were supposed to come along because they didn't come, and then you ended up paying for their ticket even though they didn't go? Are you suing them
No,
also?
absolutely not. Because this whole situation arose because I found you in a restaurant with somebody else, which you broke up with me. I never broke up with you. And that's why this whole situation arose. It's not their fault.
Any other questions, please?
Yeah, why did you suggest on the cruise that I could spend a few nights with you, even though I had told you that I had Jack with me, that we were together, and you suggested, well, dump him, and I said no. And then you said, well, how about you just come over and spend a few nights with me?
Just a minute. Now, hang on. I'm getting muddled up here. This is not before you went on the cruise.
This was on the cruise.
Oh, this is after you went on the cruise, and and you went with your gentleman friend, and then he suggested dumping him and coming and staying with you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. Well, ask him questions about that, please.
Okay, why did you suggest that I just come spend a few nights with you?
I never suggested such a thing.
Yes, you did, you liar.
No.
Ask another question, please.
That's it.
That's all the questions
Yeah,
you have?
I have a witness to, proof of his abuse.
All right. Now, sir, would you ask Ms. Smith questions?
Before I begin my cross-examination, may I present some evidence that I have as to the trip?
Yes, please.
I have 2 American Express receipts here for a couple gifts that I gave Michelle.
And how did they relate to this?
Well, I just wanted to clarify exactly the type of gifts that I would give Michelle. One of them was for a porcelain box, and I believe it was for $89. And I
For
also
what kind of thing?
It was a porcelain box that I
Oh,
bought her.
porcelain box.
An antique porcelain box. I also
Yeah.
bought her a $57 bouquet of flowers. I just wanted to clarify that I'm not the type of guy to go out and spend $5,000 or $10,000 on a whim just to give somebody a gift. The fact of the matter is I work very hard at work, and I just needed some time off, and I wanted a company. So.
All right. Do you have some questions to ask Miss Smith?
Yes, I do. How long was this the first relationship that you had besides me?
How is this related to the ticket?
Well, we had a relationship going, at least as far as my knowledge. Did we have a relationship for about 6 months, or was I dreaming?
We had a casual relationship. I told you I was seeing other guys.
I don't remember hearing about any other guys until I actually found you with one. Was this the first other guy that you've happened to have a relationship with, or?
No, I was seeing lots of other guys. I told you that it was a casual relationship. I was never serious about you. You were the one that was getting all serious.
Well, why would you come to dinner over at my parents' then?
You dragged me there. I told you I didn't want to go. I'd rather hang out with, at the mall and going to the beach and eating hot dogs. You were the one that dragged me to operas and these social outings. I didn't like that stuff. You did.
Well, that's funny, because that's not the way I remember it. You seemed to enjoy yourself enough at our party to get drunk in front of everyone, to the point that my mom had to take the keys away from you and force me to drive you home.
I don't remember that.
Well, it's apparent you don't remember a lot of things.
I need a point of clarification here. Mr. Codalora, pardon me, I'm having trouble with your name. Mr. Codalora, are you saying that at the time that you bought this ticket that you and Miss Smith had an understanding about who would be sleeping where on this cruise?
Not when I originally bought the tickets, no. I bought the tickets as a surprise to my 3 friends, and I would assume that for 3 people that usually don't do a heck of a lot, I have a job, which means I have to take time off, but they're 3 people that aren't professional, so I figured...
I have a job. I'm very professional. I work in a magazine. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it's very casual work. It's not like me. Whenever I leave, I have to make sure...
Like you do real hard work. You work for your mommy and daddy.
At a brokerage. Do you know how hard it is? I had to go and get an MBA.
You had everything cut out for you. You don't...
Excuse me. So at the time you bought the ticket, you hadn't had any discussion about who was going to sleep where, is that right?
That's right.
And you bought it in her name, one set in her name, one in yours, is that right?
That's right.
All right. Now, do either of you have any witnesses?
I do.
You do. All right, and who's the witness?
Jack Warner?
Jack Warner. Could you come forward? All right, Mr. Warner, now this case involves a ticket on a cruise ship, and you're involved in this somehow.
Yes, Your Honor.
And how are you involved?
I'm the boyfriend of Miss Smith.
Oh, so you're the gentleman that went on the cruise with Miss Smith using the ticket that Mr. Codalora had purchased for her?
That's correct. Yeah.
All right. Now, you've called him as your witness. Would you like to ask some questions? You, meanwhile, can sit down, sir, until she's finished, and then you'll have a turn.
Okay. When Curtis saw us in the bar, we were just having a drink, and what was his reaction when he saw us?
Oh, he came in being an ass from the start, calling you a slut, a bitch.
Absolutely not. When I walked in,
He was doing
I just
that, Your
assumed
Honor.
that he was a friend from
You are
work.
going to have an opportunity, and this isn't it. All right.
Yeah, wait your turn.
Excuse me, miss. Go on with your questions. You were answering, actually. Why don't you go ahead?
Like I said, he was calling her a bitch, a slut. How could you do this to me? Why didn't you tell me you were seeing somebody else? I don't know why he wasn't under the understanding that it was a casual relationship. She told me from the start that it was casual.
She told you her relationship with you was casual? Or
Yeah, we were very open. I knew that she was seeing other people. I'm seeing other people. And I figured the same would have went for Mr. Costello, whatever his name is.
Codalora.
Codelora.
All right, so you knew that she was having a casual relationship with you and a casual relationship with Mr. Codalora.
That's
All right.
right.
Any more questions, please?
Yes. In the bar, you almost hit Curtis.
That's right.
Why didn't you hit him?
I wanted to hit him. I wanted to hit him more than once, but by the time I had him by the throat, you told me really quickly that he's probably going to sue me. So I released him.
Yeah, it shows its
And
nature.
I know he would sue, so
Yeah, look what he's doing now. Why did I ask you to go on the cruise with me?
well, I'd suggested that you use the cruise tickets because they were in your name, and they were non-transferable, and they were on his expense, so why not take me, you know?
This was your suggestion.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
So you suggested, all right, cruise, and why not take him, etc. Yes, and your response to this?
Did I ever imply that my relationship was serious with Curtis?
Never.
Or did I ever imply that my relationship with you was serious?
No. We had that understanding from the start.
That's all.
That's all?
Yeah.
Well, I have one or two questions. There's some allegation that there was a fuss on the boat once you got on the boat.
He started the name calling and stuff again. I had no idea he was going to be on the cruise.
Your
We
Honor? On the ship, he actually went as far as to contact the captain, saying that we shouldn't be in the same cabin because we weren't married. But for, like, if I were staying in his cabin, I'm sure he wouldn't have called the captain.
I just would like you to go on with my with the answer to my question.
Sure.
What happened on that ship?
I was pretty upset when I found out he was on the ship to start with. It's a lot of gall, you know, a lot of balls.
Excuse me. Number one, you won't be using that expression again here. And number two, why were you upset that he was on the ship? Were you not aware there were two sets of tickets?
I wasn't aware, no.
Oh, I see. So Miss Smith hadn't told you about that problem.
No,
A lot of people, a lot of things.
I was just under the understanding that she'd had a set of tickets in which she could take a friend, and I asked her to take me.
I see. Now, Mr. Codalero, do you have some questions?
Yes, I do. Actually, some of my questions are going to be pertaining to the bill, so may I submit that for evidence
Yes,
as well?
please. Madam Clerk, would you give those to me? Thank you.
In addition, I put the cruise on my credit card, and I also guaranteed it with my credit card. So at the end of the cruise, which was unenjoyable as you might see, there was $424.53 worth of bar charges and massage charges. Considering I didn't have a massage and I don't drink that much, I just would have to assume that other individuals are using my onboard ship credit. I can't say anything. I have an inquiry to the cruise ship, but they haven't been able to get back at me.
But
in
in any
time.
event, you're not claiming for that in this action.
Not
You've told me
claiming.
you're just claiming for the $3,600, right?
That's correct.
Very good. Now, if you have some questions, this is the moment to ask them.
Did I give you the tickets as a gift to go on a cruise?
You didn't give me squat. You give them to her.
And you will eliminate squat along with that other word you were using, please.
Sorry.
Continue.
But I never gave you the tickets to go on a cruise.
The tickets were in Miss Smith's name.
Did Miss Smith ever tell you
You
upon
gave them to me, and I gave my portion
Excuse
of
me,
my ticket to
I'm
him.
That's right.
questioning him right now.
Yes, and that's a good point. Would you wait, please? Continue.
Do you feel that you're the only person dating this woman right now, or you just have an open relationship and that's
Excuse
fine?
That's
me.
none of your
Next,
business.
never mind that. I agree with you. Don't answer that question. Go ahead. Next question.
Well, I just wanted to figure out whether or not, do you buy any expensive gifts for her, or?
Next
none of your
question. Ignore
business.
that question. Come to some questions about what happened
You're just
with
bitter.
respect
The
to
only
this.
reason why you're doing this is because
The only, what I'm trying to
because I
get
wouldn't
across
put
here
out.
is that obviously he probably doesn't give her any gifts, which is
I
because
give her a lot more emotional gifts than you've ever given her.
emotional
So,
gifts.
I'm going to curtail your cross-examination of this witness if you have no further relevant questions. None?
I guess I don't.
All right. Witness, you can step down. Do you have anything to say in summary?
in summary, all I really want to do is go over the facts. I gave the tickets to her in good faith under the agreement that her friend and my friend were going to go, and I was merely paying for it. The same way somebody would go on a fishing trip and I'd pay for the gas. It was nothing more than that.
All right, thank you. And can you summarize your position, please?
I accepted the tickets as a gift, but there was no obligation for me to be sleeping with him in his cabin. He gave them to me, and I did what I wanted with them, and I took aghast.
Thank you. I'm going to look over my notes of the evidence, and I'll be back with my decision in a moment. Court is temporarily adjourned.
All rise. All rise.
You may be seated. All right. Now, this case, I've made a decision about it, but first I'd like to comment. You made a gift, sir, to Miss Smith. Ill-advised or not, it was a gift. And at the time you made it, there were no conditions, and even had there been a condition that she had to sleep with you or some such condition, it wouldn't be, in my judgment, enforceable in any event. So you made the gift, and she could do with it as she pleased. So therefore, your action is dismissed, and costs are awarded accordingly against you. But I might say this: I certainly consider that whoever was managing my calendar when you were on that trip was doing the right thing. I would have hated to be on board with any of the three of you in the circumstances. Court's adjourned.
All rise.
Well, the case of the Jolted John and the Jumping Jack today on Money Court. It really couldn't go any other way than it did. The plaintiff couldn't possibly prevail. Once you've given a gift to someone, you can't get it back, even though your relationship may sour. It may have been a bit rude for the ex-girlfriend to bring her new love interest on board the ship and rub his nose in it, but there's no remedy you can get for that kind of behavior in court, as we discovered in the court of Judge Davidson today.